Welcome, and everyone, to the Gold Amateur Gold Scouting Grounds on this amazing first day of competition in the group stage. I am Sun Praising, and alongside me today will be Sayonara. Say hello, Sayonara, if you want, or
Hey, what's up, dude? I am ready to cast some games today. I'm hyped. I'm ready to go. It's gonna be great. Gonna,
yeah.
evaluate some drafts.
So our first match that we've bring to you today is between Beanie Babies and Clock Block. Now, Beanie Babies did have side selection and have chosen to play on the red side um, for this match. So obviously valuing the counter pick, but just for the rosters to be just to confirm the rosters, we do have on the side of Beanie Babies, Myopia in the top lane, Main Miller mid, Main Miller in the jungle. Whoops. of Chinese Spy is actually mid. And Diet will be subbing in for Adishwan and as ADC. And Zorinth is their support. And on the side of Clock Block, Keithel is in the top lane, jungler of Cash Money. Vertex is their mid laner. ADC is Deems Jr., while his support is Ephemeral Voids. A full starting lineup for Clock Block. And we should be getting to draft any second now. And I don't know if you've done your done the homework on what these players play, Sayonara, but could you potentially give us any insights onto who or what we might be seeing from either of these teams today?
Yeah, I've done a little bit of research into both of these teams here. Um, you know, we're looking at pretty not too many wild picks. I don't think like we see pretty standard meta picks across the board. We see a Lux, or sorry, not a Lux, a Victor and a Silas. In the mid lane for the side of clock block as we get into the draft here. Already they're going to be banning out their jungler. Who was I literally about to talk about next? He is a nocturne one trick, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So the ban there is deliberately targeted at him, making sure that he doesn't get his comfort pick. So they might put him onto something like the Warwick, which is far easier to deal with. And they can also pick the Amumu, which is super flexible pick, and it's not a hard jungler at all to play, right? You just farm till 6, you get that ultimate, and then you just gank like crazy whenever it's off cooldown.
Yeah, and with the Amumu hover here for Clock Block, it might be a potential option to take away since, as it is locked in, we can see Amumu being for the side of Clock Block. Um, Potentially taking away some comfort there with that one, or?
I think it's just the overall good flex pick right here, right? Because it allows you to take it into the bot lane and it allows you to take it into the jungle. Sometimes it can even be taken into like heavy tank matchups like the Ornn, which was banned away, but it's also good into the Scion. It just allows you to burn down those tanks and deal tons of damage to them without really risking too much of your own or having to build too much damage, right? But they're gonna respond with with the Lucian Nami, which is a super, meta pick, super strong. We just saw it in Worlds, finishing up the final day of games. Super strong pick overall, and they're going to get the Misfortune and Vex in return for the side of Clock Block. I like both of the picks. Vex is super good into Lucian. It's also super good into Corki, so I'm not really sure why they picked the Corki here. Maybe they know something that we don't.
Yeah, and Vex obviously a bit new. They're kind of designed around anti-mobility, so yeah, actively picking Corky into that, it seems a little bit strange. I would assume with Misfortune going second on the side of Clock Block that they are looking towards a Mumu support, as that's what that was for a bit one of the more meta bot lanes with the Curse of the Sad Bullet time, but I mean there's still flex potential, right?
Oh yeah, it's still huge in the bot lane, right? Like the nerf was targeted towards the Mumus who just spam out their abilities. Um, this it's still usable in the bot lane, right? You just have to be more conservative about your mana, more conservative about the trades that you do take and the all-ins you do choose to go for. You have to be super watchful for that, right? Um, it's honestly like picking a Blitzcrank in the bot lane. He only has like what 3 or 4 hooks level 1, just based off the fact that it costs 100 mana per hook. So you just have to be absolutely sure that this is the trade you want to go for. If they opt to put the Amumu in the bot lane, of course this all goes out the window if they put Amumu in the jungle into Xin Zhao, which is not going to be the case. So it will be J4 into Xin Zhao. We're going to be looking at them to round out their draft with potentially a top pick.
Yeah, and I know that Keithel is more of a tank player. I mean, I believe his most two common. Yeah, that's not a tank. It's totally hovered, but okay, Gangplank locked in then. All right, well that changes a bit.
Definitely, it's if you're gonna have to blind a top laner, Gangplank is one of the best blinds you can do. It's super safe. Not really too many champions that can beat it. And if they do beat him, he just sits back and farms with barrels, farms with Q, sits on their turret, and affects the map with his, global ultimate. So I like it. But I'm not sure if Mundo is the one you want to run into, right? Because Mundo is one of those picks that you pick him when you're going into heavy AP team comps, right? And this is like quite the opposite of a heavy AP team comp, right? The only person really who does AP damage is the Vex, and it's kind of the Amumu. The Amumu's going to be building tank more than likely, so I'm not really sure. I don't know. This Amumu pick or Mundo pick seems very strange. Maybe a little bit of panic, something like that.
I mean, Mundo goes where he pleases, so like,
true.
I don't know. Something along those lines. Yeah. I will say that immediately just looking at it, I think Clock Block does have the easier to execute team composition. At least that's my initial thought going into, but. I don't know about you, Sayonara. Is that a good assessment, or?
Yeah, they definitely have the easier to execute composition, right? And I'd say the stronger composition to execute, because really you're looking to engage with the J4, ult over, a J4 or Mumu. Amumu is going to be your primary engage. J4 is going to be a secondary, or if you see an opportunity to go in, then you go in, and then you just layer ultimates over the top of one of their two engage, and it's super hard for the side of Beanie Babies to fight that. Granted, their bot lane can push and snowball the enemy bot lane super hard, right? So that is a point of contention for them if they can get the bot lane rolling. It's super tough to get back from that just because the strength of the Lucian Nami. But Corki and the Vex, it's a boring lane to say the least. Not too much happens if the Vex doesn't want it to happen. But if the Vex, gets that attention from J4, then they go hard in the paint, both of them, and they can easily clean up this Xin Zhao Corki, I think.
Yeah, and shoot, I'm trying to think of potentially other main talking points, but I believe that's all their bases, but perhaps you have a bit more into some things that we're going to potentially see from this lineup, potentially some comfort picks or just general what might else could we look for from these players?
Top lane generally gonna be pretty boring. Not too much happening in the top lane. So like I said, the J4 super safe pick. Mundo, he doesn't even get the opportunity to run down the J4 Gangplank pretty much ever, just because of the fact that Gangplank can slow him and run away at the speed of light. Not too much gonna be happening there. They might devote a singular gank top lane for either. If the Gangplank gets a little bit too big for his britches, they might toss the Xin Zhao Corki with package up there. But really this game, the kicking point, the starting point, where all the action is going to happen is if Clock Block doesn't bring that action, then the Corki will, and the Corki is more than capable and more than willing to grab his package and blast it either down mid, bot, or top, or into the jungle, fight for a huge objective, something along the lines of a Rift Herald early. So that's what we're going to be looking at to see what Chinese Spy can do on the Corki, if he can even unlock the laning phase for himself to roam, because otherwise the Vex will keep him in lane until she's finished scaling, and then she one-shots everyone.
Okay, so on that note, we have reached the spectator delay in the draft. We're going to be looking for the Corki potentially roaming from the side of Clock Block and the not Clock Block of Beanie Babies, and for Clock Block, a bit of ease of execution. But when the spectator delay is done, we will see you when we load onto the Rift. And we have gotten past the spectator delay and loaded in for our first match between Clock Block and Beanie Babies. I know we've Sayonara, I know we've gone over a bit of the what we're to look forward to in this game in Champion Select, but just as a quick reminder, no mind. Oh wait, no, hold on. Lurtex. So yeah, it's an electrocute proc there. But yeah, what's to look forward to before we were interrupted there by a potential fight?
Um, you know, just looking forward to, looking at the Zinzao really. This Zinzao J4 matchup looking to be the catalyst to unlock some of these lanes and push the accent. Because like I said, there's not too much to do in the mid lane if you're the Corki. Um, it's really the Vex who wants to push out the action. There's nothing really going to be happening in the top lane except Keitel, more than likely shoving in the Mundo on repeat. Um, the bot lane, a lot of the action will be contained within the lane itself, so we don't have to look to the outside jungle matchup to unlock it. So we're looking at the, how well the solution Nami can play. And I just want to highlight real quickly that we're looking at Nami take the Airy, right? Summon Airy versus
Ooh, yeah,
the
I
electric.
didn't even notice that until
So
you
a lot
pointed
less
that out.
damage, but, a lot more survivability for the side of this Lucian.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I probably should have noticed that myself. I wasn't looking towards the Nami with Airy because I just, it's one of those things where usually I just defaulted, oh, Nami, Lucian, Nami takes electrocute, but I mean, have to see how that one plays out.
Yeah, and you just notice that you can see some pinks coming down on the side of the top side, um, from I think J4 right onto the Zinzao, wondering where he went because they know that he started red buff, so they know he's top side. They know
Ooh,
they're
wait, I mean to
mad.
cut you off, but that is a
Fat trade.
really, that is a very massive trade in the bot lane. Ephemeral Voids
Oh, that's
taking a
rough.
massive chunk of health for very little in return. And you said that within this 2v2, Nami Lucian can do a bit of work, and well, we're seeing this already at level 1.
Yeah, it's really hard to deal with, the damage coming out from a double range bot lane into a melee ranged, right? Like, there's not really anything you can do
Yeah.
until you get those ultimates, until you feel confident with your trading. So you're just gonna have to kind of take that on the chin and make sure you don't feed, right? But yeah, look at that. They have this Zinzao really tracked down pretty almost perfectly. And that's just exactly what you want to see, right? You want to know where this Zinzao is at all times, so they know he's bot side, they know they're matching, and they're gonna go in here.
Oh, yep, gone in. Ephemeral Void's getting low. Both Ignites coming down. That's the first blood going over to Zoran's Nami, but a kill will be taken in return on the side of Deems Jr.'s Misfortune. But this fight isn't quite over yet as the junglers have now joined in. Cash Money getting low, flashes out, stays alive, and that is, I believe, a Summoner's Spell advantage. Wait, no, Main Miller flashed at some point.
Yeah, he flashed in trying to get an opportunistic kill on Deems Jr. there. Didn't quite work out. So.
Missed that myself. Yeah.
So he just got out. But yeah, that's huge for the side of Beanie Babies, right? Because not only do they get first blood onto the anybody in the game, not as good on the Nami as the Lucian, but it's still super good, right? They get one scuttle, and they might even get double scuttle, which will put their jungler if not even ahead of Cash Money here. Cash Money doing what he can, to farm up, try to stay ahead, try to stay even with them, but with the two camps that Main Miller has up, he's going to be ahead at the end of this rotation, ahead of Cash Money.
Yeah, and since wait, we got another fight in the bot lane again. Immediately, the Misfortune stubbed up. Is Diet picks up the kill here, but he's gone low. Perhaps only one or two auto attacks needed more, and there he is. He's down. And there's a return kill coming on to Ephemeral Voids, but Ephemeral Voids potentially looking for another one. Bubble misses. He lands the bandage toss. Doran's about half. I don't think Ephemeral Voids, will have enough damage without any sort of mana, but still, another 1-for-1 trade in the bot lane. So,
going for a gank on Myopia here.
Right, actually, hold on. Yeah, immediately shaded to the top side. Myopia will just have to walk away from Cash Money's gank and takes quite a bit of damage. Won't have to burn any summoner spells, though, so I would say really good. But, okay, so I hit my microphone with my hand. Sorry about that. We had a few fights through already. Clearly the state of the game will be affected by it. So actually, I know I'm going to have to cut you off again, as Myopia just might be all in by Keithel. Flashes
Oh,
in, both flashes traded. Myopia didn't quite get out of range of that auto attack in time, and that is a kill going over to Keithel's Gangplank.
yeah. So basically, what we're seeing here is the strength of the new Lucian Nami in the bot lane, just really dictating the pace of the show, and that's what you want to see when you draft that kind of bot lane. But the issue is that they're trading so many of these kills. You want these kills to be a lot more clean than they are, because they don't really need to trade these kills outright, but they are, and that only benefits Clock Block in the long run, because if they can get these items, if they can scale equally into the mid game, they're gonna win because they just have the stronger team fight, team comp, right? But then in the top lane, we're seeing Kaito get a little bit of attention, and now he's running it really. He's running this Mundo into the dirt, and it's only gonna get rougher from here for him.
So Mundo not quite going where he pleases just yet. Yeah, I mean, overall though, I know we like rewind way back to like that very first fight with the First Blood. You mentioned that Main Miller was potentially looking for double scuttle, and I know he didn't mention it, but it's because of all these fights. But he did in fact, we got
Teleport.
another one. Speaking of, Zorinth will be knocked up by the flag and drag from Cash Money. Vertex teleports in, gets the kill onto Diet's Lucian. And I believe that should just be it. Chinese Spy marked by the Vex ultimate, but I mean, I doubt he goes and takes that. Still not quite.
He's far too undeterred to do that.
Yeah. Still not quite out of this yet. Dragon's still up. It looks like, yeah, they'll probably wisely back away from this one.
Yeah, and that was just smart from them. They saw that they had an opportunity and they went for it. They called it out to the respective members who were going to be a part of it. They called it out to the mid laner. They even called it out to the top laner, because I think he dropped his ultimate on that fight. I need to go back and watch it again. But yeah, they called it and they said, okay, let's go on to him. They didn't get their original target in Main Miller, but they did get a secondary target, which is even better in the long run, in Diet. And it worked out perfectly. Unfortunate for the side of Beanie Babies, because Chinese Spies did use his own ultimate, right? Or sorry, not ultimate, but his own teleport in response. So, I mean, on the plus, you don't really have to track vertexes as much, but on the downside, you don't have that crucial summoner spell.
Also, most of these kills for Clock Block have gone onto Diet's Lucian, and though he still does have a farm lead, we'd rather not have this Lucian be further behind, especially with how powerful of a 2v2 Lucian Nami is. But let's see here. Got Herald up. How likely do we believe that'll be a point of contention between these two teams? Actually, no. I mean, I'm going to have to cut you off there, because it looks like we're going to get coming into the mid lane. Cataclysm comes down, but Chinese Spy does well to flash out of that one. No, flash expended with Rift Herald up, so potentially a big summoner spell advantage for a future fight. But yeah, I'm going to cut you off, and we just may have another fight. I want you. Okay.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I lied again. We get it. Come to the top, like Cash Money will flag and drag away from Main Miller. Not much for actually. Well, I mean, Herald is up.
Oh, Myopia might be walking in a trap here.
On the top side, Myopia does look like he didn't quite see that. Wait, this.
Reconnect. They probably had a quick pause in there. We didn't get to experience it, so it works out fine.
Yeah. My brain. Was like,
yeah,
wait a
I
second,
feel that.
but I mean, Myopia not quite respecting the potential for a regank. Cash Money lands a flag and drag. What's the knockup?
Main Miller here. They could go for a little fight.
This fight's still not over. This. How long are we going to be here? Cash Money lands the flag, doesn't quite have the drag, has to flash away. Myopia getting a bit of damage down onto Keithel, though I don't believe any kills will come through just yet. And I'm not quite prepared to. Yeah, we've got a lot of heavy trading, but a quick zoom back to the bot lane. Bubble lands onto this Misfortune. Will catch out any sort of fight going there. Main Miller eventually picking up this Scuttle Crab out of this massive, long, extended skirmish. Back straight into
Quick
the
goes
bot lane
down.
because of the side mummy goes
Oh,
down. Oh, great tidal wave to cancel the bullet time. That's the kill onto Diet, though it is traded onto Ephemeral Points of Boomy. He's getting low on mana. Don't believe he'll be able to find a kill here, and actually maybe in return. No, not much. That's actually quite a bit of damage from Vertex onto Main Miller. But 2v2 in the mid lane looks like it's coming through. Cataclysm comes down. Main Miller flashes away. And Cash Money goes down, but it will be returned onto Vertex. And
Vertex used Flash to get that. They could just run him down, but no, he will wisely choose to let it go for this time. And yeah, it's just been a constant battle skirmish back and forth. That's what happens, when you pick a skirmish jungler into a, you know, pseudo tank jungler who just wants to farm up till 6, and once he hits 6, he can play that skirmishing role, right? That's just the nature of the matchup as Vertex ults in here.
Vertex is looking for a 1v1. Chinese Spy getting low. Won't quite have enough damage
Doesn't
to
have the
immediately
mana.
burst. Actually, the minions! Get the kill on the Vertex. Credit going over to Chinese Spy. And Vertex is not quite accounting for the minion aggro on the back end of his engage. Didn't quite have enough burst, but immediately in the top lane, we're looking like we might have another answer. Flag and Drag comes in. Myopia's spell shield is knocked away. Will ult.
He's just gonna ult and walk out.
He's just going to ult and
There's
walk
not
away.
too much
Getting that health regen and the move speed. And Mundo goes very pleases. Corporate Mundo, got those stonks.
Nice skin. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I love the new corporate. I know. And never mind with the haste, but yeah, that bubble landing onto Ephemeral Voids will have to flash away, and that's actually 2 flashes burned on the side of Clock Block's bot lane. And might see Main Miller walking through. This just might not be over. We're looking at a potential dive. I mean, look at it, but the Herald. It's definitely going to be a 3v2, and with these heals coming through, I would predict a potential dive coming through.
Yeah, but look at the timer. 6 seconds. The dive doesn't need to come through. They can get these plates onto the Lucian, the Nami, and then they can walk up, get this Herald for free, pretty much. Like they use both of their flashes, and it's just you can't do anything once that goes down. So yeah, I think the play will be go over to the Drake, pick up the Drake, and even if you lose the Herald here in response, even if they drop a mid, that's still value in your pocket versus a little bit of immediate value for the side of Vertex and Cash Money, depending on where he chooses to drop it as they go in.
Flag and Drag coming through, and that was a bit. Actually, Deems Jr. gets a bit aggressive under his own tower. Vertex jumps in on the Vex, doesn't quite account for the fact that Chinese Spy had Immortal Shield Bow passive up, and that keeps him alive with enough damage in return, but straight into the bot lane, culling is used, not quite enough. Main Miller immediately all over the place. Cash Money trying to find the kill onto Main Miller, does get that in return, and whew, okay, wait, it's not even over just yet. Bandage Toss comes in. I'm not sure what Ephemeral Voids is trying to do. It's a 2. All right, there we go. Cash Money is actually there, but it's way too early. Cash Money coming low. Teleport coming out. Don't know if that was necessary from Myopia, because it looks like he's just going to recall right after teleporting. This game, man. I mean, Sayadar, I know you haven't been able to get too many words in, but I think we just might have a moment now. Tell us about just the ramifications of this match so far.
Yeah, so basically what's been going on, right? It's just all over the place, and I can tell you kind of what's going on. It's just Clock Block not really respecting the side of Beanie Babies. They're walking up under their own turret thinking they're safe, but they're not accounting for how strong the Lucianami is in the 1v2. They're trying to dive a Corki with Shield Blow under turret. Ephemeral Void's trying to get a 2v2 with the Amumu, not realizing how weak his champion has become. Cash Money going in for the solo kill, trying to clean up a little bit of the mess here. It's just all over the place, and it's just them not understanding how the composition is meant to be played, I think. And it's just one of those situations where they gotta work on it.
Have a fight coming through. Myopia looking like he's trying to go very pleased. This is Spell Shield does prevent that CC coming through. Cash Money about half health now. Main Miller, however, is going low. That's Vertex picking up the kill onto Main Miller, though Keithel's very low. Flashing from Myopia, picks up the kill onto Keithel. Vertex, oh, that's enough damage to take down Vertex, and Chinese Spy in the back end of this gets the kill onto Cash Money's Jarvan. Might try to find another one onto Ephemeral Voids, who's not have much experience, but in the bot lane, meanwhile, that does give free range to this Lucian Nami to just take the rest of this bot turret.
Yeah, good for them to take out that turret. That's, they get that early gold onto the Lucian Nami. Now you can rotate them around the map. Probably rotate them to the top side. Pick up that turret as well. Maybe even push in. Prepare for the second Herald if you really want that as objective. It's not that great, but it is there. Um, yeah, I just want to highlight quickly, you know, the build path for the Lucian. He's opting for the more damage build, relying on his Nami to shield him, to support him, and to get him out of sticky situations. He didn't opt for that Gale Force or the shield blow. Going with Kraken Slayer, and I think that's just them working together well enough as a duo. They have the Aerie, summon Aerie, so it's fine, right, for him not to go a more defensive oriented Mythic. As we look for Myopia, just getting a little quick trade in here. Um, but really for the side of Clock Block, you just need them to slow down the game a lot more, look to scale up, and look for easier picks that don't involve the entirety of Beanie Babies.
Yeah, and well, we actually just might see that a bit now. 4 members of Clock Block are hanging around this mid lane, though I do believe Beanie Babies should know about a potential 4-man mid situation coming through. Hold on. You there, or is this currently a solo cast, maybe? Technical issues, or? Sounds
I'm
like
here.
maybe. Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay.
I'm always
Well, I was
here.
about to throw it over to you, but we've got to fight. Cash Money uses Cataclysm to go in, layered by Keithel's ultimate on the gangplank. It will burn the flash of Main Miller. But yeah, I mean that potential 4-man mid play didn't quite come through. But before I say that, we've got a 5-minute Ephemeral Voids actually maybe
He's walking
against
back
his
into
own
the
will, walks up. Yeah, Curse of the Sad Mummy locks him up, shut down going on to Deems Jr.'s Misfortune. And I mean it's traded 1-for-1, but
That one was a
very
little bit yikes right there. I know what he was trying
yeah,
to
for
do.
both sides, yeah.
Aiming his ultimate, just too far away from his ideal target, and he walked out of it. It's probably better if he just, drops the ultimate and, looks to reset the fight. But walking back into the Misfortune ult that's getting channeled right in front of your face is definitely not the right move to do, right? And that was extremely yikes, as they're looking to set up for this third Drake here, looking to, build up their lead. Trying to get that going. They also have the package on Corki, so we're going to be looking at that,
Yeah,
as a fight starter.
I would be surprised if this gets tried contested. I mean, Vertex doesn't even have teleport without vision. Yeah, that's one more dragon. The Infernal Drake. We did not mention yet, but you probably would have noticed that it is an Infernal map. Ephemeral Voids, but you're trying to start a fight here. Package coming through, knocked up. And that's a ton of damage coming down onto the Mumu. Very little that they can do, that Clock Block can do in return. A little bit of damage, but still, that's a kill without much in return for the side of Beanie Babies.
Absolutely. And now the second Herald is up. That's a thing, a point of contention for each team, as Main Miller is going to walk into Cash Money here.
Yeah, Cash Money will land the flag and drag, uses Gore Drinker. Cataclysm's down, Vertex following up on it. That's a lot of damage. Main Miller bursts it out, and Diet will probably have to get away here, but Vertex is low. Can't quite get into auto attack range to finish off Vertex, and that's, once again, Vertex picking up another kill onto Diet. And
the real question is, does Vertex get out here? It looks like it.
Teleport. They just didn't have vision on. Vertex does get out on very little health with the enemy team close in tow. God, we're going to have to rename him to something to Harry Houdini with that one there.
Yeah, that was really good. But I just want to highlight that Diet was in the side lane alone, without the Nami, without any other support. Like it's rough because Cash Money was already waiting in a bush to gank the Lucian, but then they just saw an opportunistic play on the Main Miller. They pick up that, and then they can transition into the Lucian. Granted, he almost gets Vertex in return, but you don't want to be in the situation where you're forced to almost trade someone back, right? You want to be in a situation where you can start the fights with your Nami and with your Corki. You want to be together. So it's probably best, now that the top lane turret has been taken, to move him into the mid lane and, start up that snowballing, that scaling, that, what you want in your ADCs.
Yeah, and Definitely. I would say I would have to agree that Clock Block have done a wait, no, not Clock Block. Beanie Babies. I have my notes written with Beanie Babies on the left side, so my face just like yes, they must be blue. No, that is my mistake. But in all seriousness, Beanie Babies have done a good job at keeping this match so far. These fights separated. That being said, Vertex looking for a fight. Zorinth getting very low, but it just might not be enough as Vertex goes down and Myopia's teleport comes through. Deems Jr.
Yeah.
Um,
Almost like I was about to say, right as the fight kicked off, right? A lot of these plays are happening around Vertex, and that's huge, right? You want this Vex to be all over the place, starting these fights with that long range and good ultimate onto the right targets every single time, and that's perfectly fine. But the issue is that right now the Vex doesn't have that 100-0 burst damage that they're looking for. Misfortune tried ulting over the top, then tried getting the kill by walking in, and that's just that's just not good at all, right? Like you're walking into Xin Zhao with ultimate up with Myopia Mundo. It's just rough as they're trying to chase down Cash, Money, and Kaito here. I don't think it's gonna happen. So they transition back in the mid lane, and everything works out perfectly fine.
yeah, I mean, they were able to pick up that top lane tier 2 tower off the use of the Rift Herald. It looked a little bit dangerous for a second, but Corki without the package, not able to quite cut off their retreat. It's a bit of a mouthful to say, but what are you looking for? I mean, Baron's up. We've got Infernal Drake coming up in about a minute. Where do we see this match coming to? What are we looking for in these next few minutes potentially?
Right. So we want to, we want to see each team set up the vision for the Baron Drake. Like that's huge, right? Like that's what every team does. They dance around the Baron. Although we might see a flank coming out there, all sitting on a ward, and they don't know it.
They don't know they're on a ward. Tidal Wave comes through. Cataclysm from Cash Money. I mean, there's nobody there to follow up on him, and this just might be a massive win for the side of Beanie Babies as Clock Block have been completely routed in this fight. Oh, the Vex damage isn't enough. Not quite. Diet picking up the kill, almost going down, but not, as I said, not quite enough. And with Baron up, I see it being pinged by the side of Beanie Babies, and it looks like, yes, they're going to go for it. A 22.5-minute Baron looking likely for Beanie Babies.
They were just sitting on a ward. They didn't have sweepers up, but they had a control ward. I think maybe one or two. They could have control wards left it, but they just it's just a little bit of laziness. They need to be more concerned about that. They do manage to pick it up even through the Gangplank ultimate. They weren't really expecting that to steal it anyway, just tossing it down, trying to do something. But it's like I said, you can't be lazy about your setup. You can't be lazy about anything going into a team that's in comms, all coordinated, and doing the same things that you're looking to do. As Corki picks up this package, so again, looking for a huge Corki packages across multiple members of this team as this Drake starts to come up.
Yeah, and it is live at the present moment. I don't believe Clockblock will be able to start this up, and actually, we just might see Beanie Babies look to start this themselves. Got a bit of a posture, a bit of a dance coming through, but before we get anything major, I might cut you off at some point if their fight does come through. But I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what we might see.
Yeah, a
Coming
fight
in
has to come
seconds.
through, or else they're going to be at the penultimate Drake 2.
Actually, we just might be looking at that right here. The ultimate from Vex.
No way.
Vertex will probably wisely not take that. Deems Jr.'s a bit
flag.
out. Package comes through. Deems Jr. just caught well out of position, and Vertex maybe potentially trying to save him. Could get killed on the back end of this fight. Knockup comes through, flashes away from Vertex. Main Miller, not quite enough damage, but Diet's there in return, and I believe, yeah, Ephemeral Void's just, I mean, he's on a moo-moo, but just doesn't have quite enough health to survive that dive, and Zorinth wasn't even picked up as a kill. It was an execute.
Just a huge, nice little execute, didn't have to waste too much of their life or give over their 300 goal shutdown, right? So they can just probably pick up this inhib, and no one is really scared of a J4, right? No one's scared of a J4 Gangplank when you're a Lucian that can just dodge out really all of their damaging abilities.
Yeah, and we're looking at him right now, clearing out those barrels on the Lucian. I know for a bit of time, Lucian, when he was played in the solo lane, was seen as a counterpick to Gangplank, and well, got a bit of bit of the reasoning behind it just there, and well, at the present moment, I believe this is all in Beanie Babies' hands as things stand.
Yeah, it's 11,000 gold lead, right? And at
Yeah.
this point, you can just walk in, slap them with your wallets, and say, "Pay up in return for your Nexus." Right? They're coming to collect their debts. They're trying to look them dead in the eyes and say, "Pay up," and we'll just be walking away with a dub here. I mean, there are options for them to come back in the game. No game is ever truly lost at this point, but it's looking super rough. And it resolves all around this Vex getting these kills, smart, clever map movements, and really using that Gangplank ultimate, which is one thing that they just haven't used all game really to any real effect. And it's like, why would you draft that if that's not why you're going to be using it, really? Um, the Moo has been moved really outside of lane. He's been more really stuck on top of the Nami. Sorry, stuck on top of the Misfortune than the Nami has been stuck on top of her own Lucian. It's a little bit backwards. Considering how they wanted to be playing. You want the Amumu roaming all over the map, and you want the Nami to be sticking on top of the Lucian. Um, if they can get some of these fast shutdowns on the Corki, on the Lucian, on the Nami, and on the Mundo, then the game isn't lost quite yet.
And we had quite a bit of damage from Vertex in that top lane, but doesn't look like he'll follow up on that. Cash Money's actually tagged by Miopio's Mundo. Slowed away, will flag and drag away. Got potentially two fights come through. I think for a second there, we gotta look at, was it Vertex using his ultimate maybe on? No, I don't think so. He still has his ultimate, so I
No,
doubt it. But got the director camera being a
all
bit
over the
all over
place.
the place, but I mean, understandably so. The 1v1 in the top lane and got the 4 bot trying to find this tower, and I don't know if there's much that Clock Block can do to stop this. As there's another inhibitor turret being taken.
Yeah, and the Flame Horizon has been reached in the bot lane. 100 CS lead pretty much for the side of Diet over his opponent in Deems Jr. That's absolutely massive. And it's part of why. Oh, the Mumu
Actually,
hits
hold
though.
on. Yeah, the Mumu does
Wow.
land his bandage toss. Curse of the Sad Mummy will continue that CC, and that is one kill coming over for Clock Block. They do manage to find the massive shutdown on Solution. I believe that was worth 1,000 gold on that kill.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it's onto the J4. And I just want to say,
Yeah.
interesting hitbox.
Yeah.
An interesting
Yeah.
Mumu hitbox,
Yeah.
I
Admittedly,
thought it was
yeah.
gonna miss, so I was just gonna keep talking, but it didn't, and they end up getting that kill. So unfortunate. Maybe the Lucian should have been playing a little bit far back or respected the movement a little bit more. But at the end of the day, what can you really do when Riot says it hits you, and you just have to take it on the chin. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, now they can, they have some of that gold back in the bank. It's no longer an 11,000 gold lead, about 9,000. So they can't really look to do too much, but at least they can try and get some of the vision back that has been lost over the course of this game.
Yeah, and with the next Infernal Drake coming up in just a few seconds here, and it being Soul Point, maybe they try to find another fight around this Drake. I don't know if that's the most advisable situation, but given the current positioning, it's looking likely that is what we're going to see in a few minutes or seconds, even.
Yeah, they just got too much vision set up, right? And
Oh
look at even the
my
damage from
gosh, that
Chinese
damage
Spy.
onto, yeah, Chinese Spy
Huge.
does a bunch of damage onto Vertex's Vex, and that just might end the fight before it even begins.
Oh no, what is
And
the J4 doing?
Cash Money potentially tried to go for the steal. Yeah, the package comes through. Keithel slowed, and that's Keithel down. And I believe this will more than likely be game over for this opening match today. Vertex trying to find the kill on the Chinese Spy, but Shield Bow is just a really OP item. If I'm being completely honest, the Vertex he's not in the right part of the map, and with 3 members down, we pretty much figured that this would be the case in the next few minutes, or not next few minutes, but a few minutes ago. But Beanie Babies should be able to end this with the Infernal Drake and everything considered.
If they don't end it, I'll be quite genuinely surprised.
Yeah.
But it looks like the end will be coming out here. You
It's
know,
looking very likely.
well,
A
boys,
2v5
and
situation. Yeah, Deems Jr. is just getting run down. Dr. Mundo just going where he pleases. Main Miller will be killed, but I mean, oh my god. I mean, yeah, this is yeah,
on the
oh,
kill for
okay.
the
There was a
Lucian.
quad. I didn't even realize how many kills that
As a GG stuff.
Diet had onto that Lucian, but that was just about the way we would have expected that match to end, given the situations. And on that note, that is brain work. Hello, Beanie Babies picking up their first win of this group stage, and considering there's only 3 games to be played, each match is extremely important for potential playoff qualification.
Absolutely. So now if you're the side of clock block, what's your next steps, right? What do you want to be looking at? Definitely number one is talking to your players, sitting them down as a group, VOD reviewing, saying, listen up. This was a solo queue game and competitive. That is not what we want to be doing. I can tell, just from looking that there were no real comms going on. Or if there were, they were comms, just running around, trying to get kills, trying to force the action when sometimes the action needed to be forced. It was just super rough, right? So they need to get back, iron out the kinks in the team, and you know, take these next 2 matches, in convincing fashion to, even have a chance at it, right? If they can win 2, I think, it will be a lot better, looks for the team. On the side of Beanie Babies, keep up what you guys been doing, right? It's working. Your drafts,
Yeah.
um, the drafts have been working well. Um, they had the harder to execute team comp, but they executed it far better than the side of Clock Block. And if that's how it's gonna work, then keep up that. And they always have the easier team comps in their back pocket. So yeah, good stuff from the
Yeah.
team.
So on that note, I believe we will send it to a break. We'll be back with the second game of the group stage. I believe that is between. Give me 1 second. I know I had it written down somewhere. It is between Oceania refugees and Lucifer's guys. We'll see you then for the draft. And we are back for the second round of this group stage round robin in the Gold Scouting Grounds, where we bring to you the match between Oast Refugees and Lucifer's Guys. Now, thinking about the team names, we have two teams from Down Under, but bit of a different type of Down Under with the locations. But either way,
Are you sure
I'm
about that?
Sun Praising. I mean, I don't know. I mean, have you been to Australia, man? It gets some, especially right
I've
about
heard
now.
some of the horror stories, jungle spiders and everything. I don't know, man. That seems like a rough place to live, I'm just
Either
joking,
way,
of course.
I'm yeah, yeah. I'm Sun Praising. That alongside me for this match is Sayonara. Um, and we're looking at the results from the first round robin stage. Lucifer's Guys came off a win. Meanwhile, Oast Refugees looking like this is pretty much a must-win situation, having lost their first match. And out of three, when the top two comes out, very likely situation. However, Oast Refugees did have side selection and elected for the red side. As we get into draft immediately, Echo has already been picked. They've gone through bands fairly quickly. Sayonara, but
Yeah, they move fast down under.
oh yeah.
Just pretty standard bans. Banning away the victor means that I think Victor is a PowerPoint for the side of Lucifer Guys, as well with the Diana and Urgot. Strong picks overall, especially with the buffs that recently came through with Urgot. Diana never really left the meta. She's always been assigned a second tier jungler to the more skirmish heavy ones, but she's still a super good AP option in the jungle. On the opposite side, we do see the Lilia taken away. It's a flex pick that can go top in certain situations. Ornn and Lulu getting it taken away as well. And we're going to see Lucifer Guys pick up Echo, while Oast Refugees pick up Viego and Karma. A strong duo to be sure, and one that can be flexed, mid jungle, top jungle, mid even for the Viego as well. So you can put Karma in support role. They have a lot of roles and, flexibility within the draft for the side of Oast.
Yeah, and in the second, as we're coming through, Kaisa Thresh being locked in for Lucifer's Guys. Not really much of a question there where those two will be going, with the bot lane being selected. I don't know. Vayne. Okay. We've seen Vayne.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. But tell us about this Vayne pick, Sayonara.
So the thing about it that Vayne and Kaisa, are, I'm not going to say the exact same champion, but they're pretty darn close, in regards of what they want to do. Close range, outplaying duelist for, ADC wise. And usually what you want to see when you draft one first, it's a super greedy pick usually. So you usually punish it with hard range. So you usually pick the Caitlyn, pick an Ashe, pick a Misfortune, even pick a Jhin and a Sivir, anything with more range than the Kai'Sa or the Vayne, generally punish it pretty hard. But by them both opting into this matchup, they are both saying, we want to play the skill game, and we think we are better than you at said skill game. And I'm, at this point in it, I'm going to lean toward Oast for this, right? Just because of the Karma Vayne can be such a strong duo versus a Thresh Kaisa. Of course, Thresh, he can peel off the Vayne. He can hook the Vayne if they land a nice hook in lane. Of course, they have a lot of burst damage with the how Kai'Sa's passive works, but still, it's a rough one overall for them. Just based off of those few facts about each champion, them both being close range. The later the game goes, it's really a toss up, and they're gonna pick Cho'Gath up for the side of Oast.
Yeah, Cho'Gath. If I've done my homework correctly, I believe that's more of a comfort pick, and expected that to just be one that's blind for the side of Oast. But I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, we'd have to see these next two picks from the side of Lucifer's Guys before we can really get an idea of how Cho'Gath will perform. But I'm gonna take it away.
Ooh, indeed. The Kayle into the Cho'Gath pick. I'm thinking about how it works. The Kayle can get bullied out pretty significantly early on, right? So it can be very, very rough for her. But at the same time, once she gets to that point, that breaking point, that level, 6, 11, and 16, she, can be a super big threat to the Cho'Gath in the side lane, and it also allows them to play this comp a little bit further back, but at the same time, they want to play in their face, with the Echo, with the LeBlanc, and even with the Kai'Sa. You want to play in their face, while with the Kale and Thresh, you kind of want to kite back almost, right? And let them run into you. So it's kind of a confusing draft for the side of Lucifer guys, but it is one that can work out, right? They have a lot of damage. And to round out the OC Refugees draft, they're going to be picking up the Fizz. So, a mid laner that could scale with items super well, a lot of burst damage, and can shore up a few weaknesses in the comp, but it might require too much gold, right? For having a Viego and a Vayne and a Fizz all on the same team. That's a lot of gold income that you have to be getting through kills at this point, because laning CS just won't cut it.
Yeah, and well, if they do reach that point, I mean, we're looking at late game kill obviously being the classic hit 16 and win. So, I'm thinking maybe both teams are potentially looking to go long to this one. But I mean, I don't know with that LeBlanc necessarily kind of fits that assessment. What? How do we?
LeBlanc can go long, and she's fine going long like that. I just think that compositionally they seem a little bit confused, right? And it's gonna be rough for them, even if it does go long, even if the Kale does get those items, just because they just all aren't on the same page, is what I think is going on here.
Yeah. So we've gotten to the champion select inside the client, and I was looking at a bit of the player chat, just to get a little idea coming through. It was Alturas was saying, please don't ban my Corki. I played it terribly in the last game, but it ended up being banned anyway. So a little bit of banter between the two teams, maybe a bit of animosity coming through, a little bit of more stakes, but it's more of a separate thing to the actual draft. But I don't know. What are you thinking about this as in like overall sort of just?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just still examining this draft, just thinking, pointing out the weak point. I'm thinking, if I was the coach of either of these teams, if I was a team drafting against these guys, I'm thinking how what I would pick into these, and how I would pick it apart, right, on either side. And I'm just finding more trouble picking apart the side of OCE's draft rather than the side of Lucifer draft, just because it's really just rough. Rough overall on the side of Lucifer, but they do have a lot of early game burst potential with the Echo, with the LeBlanc. But the only issue with that is, right, they're both AP, so you can get away with building Mertregs and be totally fine against them. You can build an early what is it, Verdant Barrier?
Verdant Barrier. Yeah,
you can build one of those on the Fizz and be totally fine. That you have a lot of options for outplaying them, and the Karma Shield will come in clutch, because Shield is, they're generally one of the biggest counters to magic damage bursts. Yeah, it's just super rough for the side of Lucers, but they definitely can win it. But I think I'm going to give the edge over to OCE in this game.
All right. Just to confirm that on the side of Lucifer's guys, they're playing on the blue side. They have elected to pick Kale, Echo, LeBlanc, Kai'Sa, and Thresh. And on the side of Oceania's refugees, they have elected to play Cho'Gath, Viego, Fizz, Vayne, and Karma. And on that note, we'll send it to a break as we get through the spectator delay. And when we come back, we'll bring you the second game of the Gold Scouting Grounds between Oath's refugees and Lucifer's guys. We'll see you on the Rift. Don't go anywhere. And we have loaded in for game 2 of the group stage of Gold Scouting Grounds, where we have a match between o- Lucifer's guys and O's refugees, and actually we just might be seeing a little bit of a level 1 fight coming out here in Invade.
Mary doesn't see it happening. Good dodge though.
Yeah, we'll just roll away from that death sentence, and well, it would have been an apt name if that hook did land on that ability, but I believe they'll just walk away, and they are get some vision in the top side though, so maybe in return, perhaps looking forward to. But since this is just level 1, we looks like teams are just going to be resetting. Sayonara, what are we main points? Yeah.
Might take a little bit of damage, going a little bit too deep here. But yeah, that I just want to quickly point out that that invade is something that they need to at least try, because they are not an early game team comp. If they don't try and get some sort of you know, if they don't try and cheat that early game tempo into their team, then it's going to be super rough for them later on, right? You like, even if they do scale, but their early game team damage is just so low overall. They just don't. They have to be so careful about how they play. Um, you know, this entire laning phase, because if they get behind early, I don't think they can get back into the game.
Well, I and also another thing that I don't remember us quite mentioning is that on the side of Lucifer's guys, they don't exactly have the strongest AD presence within through any other team. Obviously, Kaisa being an AD carry, but outside of that,
Yeah, they really don't. You know, even Kaisa, um, the one who's going to be building the AED, she still does sorry about mixed, half mixed damage, you know, for an AD carry. Um, it's gonna be rough. You know, they itemize super well into AP on the side of OC refugees. You know, they got the Karma shields and they have Fern Feathers as a super duper big tank that can just build MR, armor, and health and just sit on top of their faces for days. But, they still have to be very, very wary of that overall.
Yeah, and we're going through a few of the trades in the all over the map, and the mid lane. Aelor didn't had a looking well now. He's looking like he's training really good, starting to push out Alturis's Fizz, and that early game power from the LeBlanc definitely very apparent in these first three levels. Um, what hold on. I mean, it's a bit of a slow start. Not quite
Yep.
as not quite as action packed as the last game that we managed to see. However,
Yeah,
it's
look
looking
at the
like
path.
a little bit slow
Ooh,
from Lord
uh-oh.
Beach in the mid lane. So instead, he looks to go to the bot lane, to the bot gank the bot lane. Couldn't quite get that Scuttle Crab. However, it's found nicely. First blood going on to 80 Cosmos, and that just might accelerate the pace of this bot lane a bit with the amount of all-in potential they have.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want to do. You want to try to cheat in value wherever you can.
Hold on
Cheat
in the
in the
mid
tempo
lane.
here.
Oh, yeah. Alturas, he has no mana. Electing to go in for a trade. Maybe a bit ill advised. I hit my microphone again. I apologize. um, that is my mistake. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah, Alturas, the trade without much mana on him is a bit strange. Actually,
you
hold
know,
on. Whoa, jump
his
away.
abilities, cost so much mana early on, and he has to use them to clear. It's super rough to play the Fizz into a block matchup, but there might be the
We
retake
actually
here.
just might see a
Gonna
second
come
gank coming
through.
to this bot lane. Yeah, exhaust coming down. AP Buggy has to flash away, getting
Oh,
very
that's
low.
oh,
Not quite enough
man.
damage to 80 Cosmos. Lord Beach flashes in. We'll
Wow.
take the Dark Passage away. I
Yeah.
don't know if that was intentional or not. I would have to imagine it wasn't. Zeke may I don't know if we would have got the kill onto AP Buggy.
They might have been able to get it
But
more
but
for auto
I
attack.
think it was a bit premature on taking that lantern. Just a little bit.
Wanting to play as safe as they can without giving a kill back over. That's absolutely fine because if one of these early ganks go wrong, then things get very wrong for their team, right? So,
Yeah, and
ooh,
actually, Aelor is yet to recall. Will have to use his passive will be proc. They're probably
it's
going to
super dangerous
recall.
for him
Yeah,
because the fish
very.
still has flash.
And Peacemaker not quite finding that death sentence. Interesting name for of an ability to be calling out, considering his name is actually Peacemaker. But not quite there. And well, we haven't seen Kolev be involved too much in these early skirmishes, but in these I guess ganks more so than skirmishes. But he's been farming up. Did manage to get that double straddle, and now looking like they the Oast refugees will pick up the first drag. I
Yeah,
would
and
imagine.
like I've been saying, it's all about cheating value into your team if you're the side of the Lucifer guys. And as for the other side, it's not really about getting this value play, which is the Drake. It's about getting um, Cole V5 on, early some items, trying to hit 6 as fast as possible, get those items, and do so much damage to the enemy team. And
Feathers
kind
and
of
Fur Jess might try for an all in here though, but Silent Elements
flash.
should have his ultimate. Flash comes out. Lord
Lord
Beach is
Peach is only
here,
level
only
4 though.
level 4. Bit interesting.
Oh,
The Flash Devour, not quite enough damage to take down elements. And well, Lord Beach is still fighting in this wave. He isn't level 6
takes
yet.
a
Won't
lot of
have the
damage.
chrono shift, but he'll do enough damage to get the kill onto Feathers and Fur. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, Kolev will try to find something, but
Our
Aelor is standing far enough away to avoid any sort of death there.
Yeah, it's just super rough trying to gank that right because Arturis already used the Fizz ultimate. Um, so it's really hard to get onto a LeBlanc that's not getting slowed or locked down by something already. Um, yeah, and it's just this early game falling apart is just not what you want to see from the team that
Well, Torres
has the
has
early
used
game.
his dodge, will flash away, and that's a summoner spell advantage in the mid lane. Not quite over yet, as Kolev looks to go in on the Viego, but I don't believe he'll have enough damage to find either of these kills. And Lord Beach is still only level 5. a bit daring from Aelor trying to find a trade there. But yeah, Lord Beach starting to fall a bit behind on levels in the farm war, but
Yeah.
something to look forward to, perhaps.
That's just the nature of the beast, you know. It's just the nature of the matchup. But yeah, I just want to say that Cole has been farming super well. You know, he's been on a constant stream of getting these camps, getting this gold, and getting these items. He's doing it absolutely fine here, although
First
there's
will
a
be
trade in the mid
snared.
lane.
Yeah, Electrocute comes down. Aelor should just be able to
Pretty hard
throw a few
trade.
auto attacks away. And Alturas does have the corrupting potion. Oh, hold on. Peacemaker landing the death sentence.
Oh my,
Probably wisely not going in on that.
Jesus,
And
he's breaking his ankles out here, and it's super rough. That's just, you know, that's just LeBlanc things, though. It's not
yeah.
really too much you can do. Ooh, he does land the
Ooh,
ultimate
hold on.
though.
Will land the ulti. That
Missing
takes
the
some
chain.
low procs.
Oh
Oh,
my
that's going
god.
to be the solo kill for Alturas. And it was an incredible, really good use of his ability to chum the waters. Getting that solo kill onto LeBlanc, stopping the bleeding a little bit. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Kolev maybe trying to find a gank, walks away. And that should most likely be a bit the end of the battles. Actually, I lie immediately. I know I'm blind. That's all blue team. What am I saying?
But yeah,
I saw Lord Beach walking up to the blue buff, and I was like, "Oh wait, never mind." But no, they're all
no,
of course they're all the same team. That was just me. Maybe I should look at my mini map a bit more, but no, not quite.
it's totally
Yeah,
fine.
state of the game. No, that wasn't actually much of anything. But what were the yeah, just state of game. What are we looking at coming through?
You see the top side they're taking. They just took that early herald, and that's absolutely what you want to be seeing. Although the gank is coming through, Lord
Yeah,
Beach
the
is here.
response in the bot side, the condemn will sun up Peacemaker, but Mary the Ethereal might need a little bit of help here to survive and won't. And meanwhile, Aelor with a nice roam down will find the kill onto AP Buggy, trying to retreat. AP Buggy not. Still have flash available. Elects not to use it, but hold on. In this backside, Kolev lands ultimate on to Aelor. He's snared up. Alturas entail still looking to follow. Maybe will
Wise,
be
I don't think
passive at
we
the
go for it.
very
Yeah.
least. Does
Unless he
have his
tries to go for it
ulti.
here, he has it now.
He has it up. And probably snared up. We have fights all over the place because Lord Beach is rown up back to his own Raptors. Gets Cola very low. And actually, they should probably look for the fight here. Yeah, Alturas getting very low. Will go untargetable. Aelor goes low, goes down. Alturas picks up the kill. But he's in a little bit of a dangerous situation with Lord Beach close in tow. And no way. Dodges the abilities there. Peacemaker flashes in. Gets the empowered auto attack from his flay and the kill. But I mean, you'd probably would have rather seen that going on to Lord Beach.
That's why we call it a kill secure and not a kill steal, right? He came in, he said, if you're not going to do it, I'll do it myself. And he took the kill. And, it's totally fine. There wasn't, I don't think there was a shutdown on the Fizz at the moment. That comes after they've been out of combat for a little bit. It's fine plays overall. It's a good trade from the Fizz, right? He managed to turn that situation around when they were getting ganked, when Cole had lost so much HP. But now you need to focus on shutting down this Echo. He's been all over the map, been doing so much for his team, and he's at this point in the game, he can run wild if you let him. So you don't want to let him get to that point, right?
Yeah. If we get the message that the Cloud Drake is taken, we'll give it a few seconds. It'll be another Infernal map coming through this game. 2 games in a row that the stream has come through. Peacemaker? Yeah, probably not the wisest decision to go in on that, admittedly.
He just wants to be annoying. Just toss out.
Yeah. You're just it's about sending a message. I get it. I get it.
Message has been received and felt with my face.
Hold on, Alturas though may not be receiving that message as he tries to go in. Will go untargetable. That's a thing Fizz does. Hold on, Kolev maybe dive onto this Kale. I don't know if that's the most advisable thing considering, Silent Elements does have his ulti still available. Aelor teleports in just out of safety. Will land the snare onto Feathers and Fur. Slowed up by the kill. Aelor, a few auto attacks, not quite doing a lot of burst damage, but still coming through as he goes low. That's Aelor picking up the kill onto this Cho'Gath. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, Alturas is given free range to farm and take a few plates.
Yeah, Lord Beach is trying to stop their push.
Lord Beach is here, but I don't believe there's much he can really do in terms of combat. Yeah, National Favorite.
Although Alor is here now, lands the chain.
2v2, flash away from Alturas. AP Buggy with the shield will keep him alive, but that is the flash burned on that Fizz.
You just
okay. Oh wait, no, Chum the Waters is used. I mean, all of a sudden, yeah. Wait, we got to teleport into the top lane as well. Silent Elements still is ultimate available to use. Will flash away and will live on that gank, but does have to use the flash. Doesn't quite have teleport ready to go either in this situation. So we've got action all over the map. Sayonara. Give us an update as like an overall holistic view of the game.
Well, overall, the late game team has been winning the early game pretty significantly hard, even though you expect, the early game team to be doing that. And it's just kind of like, it's just wondering how this has been working out so well for them, really, when you're expecting him not to do so well. Granted, Lord Beach does have that more early game presence than Cole, and he scales pretty hard himself, especially if he gets these items early. But it shouldn't be working out. So it really feels like maybe a little bit of disrespect is coming out from the side of OCE here. They aren't watching. They aren't properly checking their corners. They aren't properly warding, crossing their T's, dotting their I's.
Elements on the back end of this
trying to do what he
getting
can.
a few auto attacks. Got some Kraken Slayer now.
Yeah, Kraken Slayer on Gale. So yeah, that's where some of their AD is going to come from. Not, I don't know if, it's what they need on the team, definitely, but I don't know if it's the best move overall. Maybe if you really want to try have some of that damage split, you could have gone for Nashor's Tooth into Riftmaker, try and get some of that, true damage out. As Cole walks
in the spot side, Peacemaker doesn't know that Kolev's coming through. Smite comes down, is slowed, but the teleport from the Kale into the top lane coming to the bot will dissuade any further fighting. And well, I mean that is the teleport from Silent Elements used, and now it's in the bot side, and perhaps a bit of gold coming down. Actually, straight to the mid lane. Not quite much coming there, but yeah. Actually, no, I'm going to hold on. Wait a second. We just might have a fight in the mid lane. I don't want to get you onto a massive.
Putting things down onto Lord Beach here. They might be going in.
They might. Yeah, Lord Beach is looking around, perhaps. Looking for the right move. Aelor just didn't see the Chum the Waters coming through. Will try to dash away. Alturas using all he can, but he's already used his cooldowns and he's stunned under tower. And that's Aelor picking up another kill onto Alturas. And I don't know about that one. I really don't.
I don't know. I don't know. He just paused there and he just dropped and died.
Hold on in the bot lane, potentially a solo kill on 80 Cosmos. The exhaust will reduce the damage enough to keep AP Buggy alive, and that's a 2v1 kill. I mean, it was almost very opportunistic from 80 Cosmos. Almost, but almost is only close. Almost is only close enough. Wait. Something about horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah,
being
something horseshoes, hand grenades, explosions.
The same,
yeah,
but, but overall, that was what I was trying to go for before that. But yeah, not quite enough damage.
Horseshoes and hand grenades.
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
It's both of it is that sort of what is going on type of feel, right? Like Alturas kind of threw it out all his cooldowns, then just kind of stopped in the mid lane, allowing Lord Beach to hit the stun, and then it happened again. AD Cosmos seemed like he just ulted next to a wall, allowing for the easy stun into a wall, meaning he couldn't get out of the situation even if he wanted to, despite having flash and heal up. So it's just super rough from both of these teams doing these desynchronized plays where their teams aren't on board with it, or they just try to make these hero solo kill plays, right?
Yeah. So that makes we have a bit of posturing around this Infernal Drake. And in 16 minutes, Aelor comes in, gets a little bit of burst down, but on the back end, Kolev not quite committing to that one. However, it's a great jump the waters from Alturas. That being said, Peacemaker, incredible exhaust onto that heads up play, keeping him out. 80 Cosmos completely zoned out here. Flash in, Kolev gets the kill onto that. Kaisa will get the reset, not quite enough. Will go down. It's all over the place. Alturas is been killed, and as we take an overall view of the rest of that fight, since it was split up, not quite able to see all of it at once in the single frame, but that is a 4-for-1 on the side of Lucifer's guys coming through, and they're looking like they're starting to slowly run away with this one.
Yeah, it's starting to get up to a 2K goal lead, right? And it's been about a 2K goal lead for the longest time. Just now, reaching super close to hitting a 3K, 4K. It will just grow exponentially from there. If they keep the game like it is for the side of OC refugees, they're going to lose, right? Because this is the late game team comp, scaling early, getting those item spikes early, way before the late game or the early game team spikes on their own, right? So it's just super rough and not ideal. Definitely not ideal. So you got to start doing something like this. Maybe
Alturas
look
will
for
land another
plays.
jump in the waters, gets a bit of damage
Have
onto
enough.
80 Cosmos, but it's not quite enough. In turn, 80 Cosmos using very, very alert, not seeing that the opposing bot lane wasn't on the map, will back away, and rightfully so, as they've shown up now.
Yeah, now they're just pushing out waves, looking to reclaim the map a little bit. And unfortunately, they're the only team with the map here.
On AP Buggy is knocked by the death sentence. Won't go in on that. Yeah. But yeah, as you were saying, didn't cut you off there for a second.
They just need to take these turrets like they're doing with Alor here on the side lane, pushing in. Silent Element still has the Rift Field, but he's trying to break the top tier 1, and then they come
hold on. Peacemaker tries to find the hook. Looking like a fight around this Scuttle Crab. Scuttle Crab being a very important objective.
Coming up really soon, but I don't expect them to fight for it immediately. That's interesting.
Yeah, a bit strange, but okay, I don't believe anything will come through just soon, so I'll give you a few seconds as this Rift Herald gets sent. Most likely going to be that tower.
Yeah, that tower's
down.
Maybe even the second, because they have so many people.
Wait, hold on. Lord Beach jumping in a bit. No, not quite. But yeah,
Ooh.
Wait, oh my gosh, what a hook onto AP Buggy, but not quite enough damage to take him down. Alor in the back, finally picking up that kill, and that's the Fizz going very low. Kolev can't quite find the damage. His Silent Elements ults himself to keep him alive, and that is 2-4. Oh, what a hook onto Mary the Ethereal, and that is incredible thresh play from Peacemaker. They will find the return kill onto the Kaisa, but overall, it is a very massive win for the side of Lucifer's guys as they take 2 towers in the mid lane.
And this game is definitely starting to go in their favor. They're starting to run away with it at a breakneck pace, right? They went from a 2K all the way up to a 5K, and they're just gonna. I can tell that they keep planning on ballooning it off of those type of plays, right? They want to get the Herald in there. They got the 2 turrets. Now they can start setting up vision around the Baron, right? And they can start moving in, getting the vision, making plays, getting picks, and then pulling back and letting them walk into them 4v5 with the strength of their team comp, their team comp. And it's just a rough situation for OCE right here. They definitely can still come back in this. It's not over forever, of course, but they can't be the ones really getting caught out. They have to be the ones catching out the weaker members or the Alor, AD Cosmos here. They have to be the ones catching out those 2 in particular, and they always have to be watching where these wards are. They walked over like 2 of them there, not really respecting it, and it's just rough overall.
Yeah, that whole top side of the map is lit up like a Christmas tree by blue team wards, and definitely a lot of more information available for the side of Lucifer's guys. But with this Baron up in the appropriate location, hold on, Silent Elements looking like he might walk through. Feathers and Fur very tanky still, but yeah, no, not quite. Do have a bit of a fight around the Scuttle Crab. Kolev will pick up that. Scuttle Crab is snared. Alturas just barely dodging that stun. But with Drake coming up in 40 seconds, it looks like Lucifer's
That's
guys
rough.
are doing very well to push out any sort of vision that the host refugees have.
Yeah, OC, Alturas having to toss out the Fizz ultimate there to disengage. That's super rough, right? Like, you want to be using that for the team fights, for the engage for your team. Forcing to use it on disengage isn't ideal at all. And Cole had to get out there as well. Was getting chained up by the LeBlanc, super dangerous. And they're gonna be making a play on Alturas here. Just use
Yeah,
Trickster.
Alturas.
No, he managed to get out here.
Yeah, he'll just hop away. But I mean, that'll wait. Hold on, they just might go for Baron here. Pretty daring with it. Infernal Drake up. I mean, it'd be sole point, but it looks like everybody's gone over to that Dragon Teleport coming out from Silent Elements. It's looking like a 3v5 around this Baron. Alturas, a little bit of an interest in a bit of a peculiar situation. Looking like, oh wow, Aelor, whoa, that was where first go, man. I don't know. I'm bit of a weird one there, and yeah, that's the Baron dissuaded from Lucifer's guys.
And they can, turn to the Baron themselves, right? They can, and that's looks like what
That's
they're gonna do.
looking like it, yeah.
They realize
They've gone straight onto it themselves.
They have enough damage early.
Yeah, between this Kaisa and this Kale, they're going to shred straight through it. As we see, it's gone, it's down, and they managed to pick up both the Baron and the Dragon. They put themselves on soul point, and it saying that the ball is in the court of Lucifer's guys is it would be a very big understatement.
Yeah, a pretty big understatement to say the least. I would say they even own the court at this point, right? They're allowing OCE to ball upon it, right? So they have all the gold, pretty much where they want it. I say the only place where you don't have a shutdown, where you want to shut down, is AD's, AD Cosmos and Silent Elements. But Silent
Lord Beach just might get Alturas.
Fine.
Will use the Trickster to jump away, won't be caught out, but yeah, they'll just walk away from each other there. Wait, actually, Alturas with the wait, hold on, very questionable pathing. Very dangerous from him. Still, he is Fizz. We'll get out alive, but not exactly the wisest decision making there.
Yeah, but yeah, like they're doing this, super well. They have all the shutdowns where they want them, and like I said, they had a greedier team comp, but they managed to, cheat the value and the gold into the team comp where they wanted it to be. The only person who is lacking is AD Cosmos, but even he is doing better than his counterpart in Mary the Ethical, right? So even though they share a pretty similar scoreline, AD Cosmos has been a part of 5 more kills. And
hold on, Alturas trying to find a kill in the spot lane onto Aelor, getting fairly low. Oh my gosh, Aelor does so much damage.
That was massive.
Yeah, that was actually kind of sad to watch. I mean, 10 stacks on that Dark Seal, as well as 2 items, is that'll do that.
That'll do that. But hey, it may have been sad for the side of OC refugees and their fans, but that looked pretty sick for the side of Lucifer guys, right? Like that's what you want. That's why you have. That's why you draft such a good, That's why you draft a mid laner like that. You want them to be able to be self-sufficient, and Alor is showing that he can be that. As they look to knock down the second inhibitor and make
they will. And meanwhile, on the top side, the kills pushing in as Aelor. Man, what a bunch of damage on that LeBlanc. It's definitely freed up the split push from Silent Elements, and I would imagine he has to be very close to reaching level 16. And the infamous level 16 kill. Takes 2 tower shots there, though. Let's walk away. Chum the Waters won't even land. Yeah, that's the tower going down. It's not looking good for those refugees.
AP Buggy.
AP Buggy, what are you doing there? Chrono shift away from Lord Beach, won't even take any sort of damage. I'm not even sure if that was necessary. And
that was a little bit of disrespect there. You just didn't respect of Lord Beach, and he just came in with a pretty hefty Magi's already, but now it's almost fully stacked. Just needs one more. Yeah, he's kind of running through them. at this point.
Yeah, 705, 7-0-5 on that Echo. And as you said, with the 24 stacks on the Medjais, he's written a whole entire novel now, and it's it's definitely rough for O's refugees. Um, with 30 seconds up on the next Infernal Drake, you'd have to imagine that this is just Lucifer's guys picking up the Infernal Soul to add to their troubles. And as we said, that Silent Element's just at level 16 off that Scuttle Crab. It's all the things are going in favor of Lucifer's guys, and I really don't see that changing anytime soon.
Um, really early on the teleport, right? Like, not quite sure why you leave the lane so quickly. As Cole's going for a 1v1.
Cole's trying to find a 1v1 onto 80 Cosmos, but on the other hand, he might have just elected himself into a losing situation as his shield build does get blocked. Aelor's close in retreat. However, Peacemaker will get attacked by Chum the Waters. Oh, I didn't even see where that kill came through onto the Echo. And on the back end of this, Lord Beach will ults away. Must have found the kill somewhere. Mary the Ethereal. Lord will miss the chain, but he has so much damage already that it won't quite matter. And actually, Silent Element. Silent Element's just ending the game on his own time. Wait, hold on.
Oh, they stopped the back.
Green Claw cancel that. Surely that just might have ended the game for sure. Yeah, that surely that has. I mean, yeah, I don't. The Nexus is already open.
Super clean.
Yeah.
From the side.
Very, very, very clean game from Lucifer's guys. Everything that they wanted to do went perfectly, and that moves them to two wins. And I believe, if I understand correctly with how this group stage works, that means they are guaranteed to advance out of it. And the O's refugees on 2 losses, I think they still might have a chance to qualify for the playoffs, but I think it's dependent on the other matches around, specifically between VBU and DT. Since that one was so fast, we haven't had any sort of updates on any of the scores, so we will be back for. I mean, unless you have anything to say about the match as it's been said, Sayonara. Just to be sure, don't want to send us to a break if you do have something to say, but
there's not much to be said, right? They took the strengths, a few strengths of their team comp, and they amplified them with really good macro, really good ganks. They did go down early in the jungle, but they made up for it very quickly by getting early ganks, early pressure, and it just ballooned from there, right? OC wasn't playing as together as they could have been. They weren't, they were too content to let LG dictate the pace of the game when they should have been the ones dictating that pace. And it went from a marathon for them to 200-meter dash for the side of LG. So, good job from LG to push the pace of the game.
All right. So on that note, Lucifer's guys, I'm fairly certain have qualified for tomorrow's playoffs. But we're going to send it to the break, and when we get back, we'll be back with Beanie Babies again. We saw them in game 1, but this time they'll be going up against Go Next Fast. When we return, we'll see you then. And we are back for the final time today for a matchup between Beanie Babies and Go Next Fast. And we've seen Beanie Babies already once today, Sayonara, and they did a very good job in their first game. If I do say so myself, they did actually manage to win their second one as well. So, an early congratulations for them to qualifying for the playoffs tomorrow. But look at their opponents. It is a situation where Go Next Fast, a win for Go Next Fast puts them in a fairly good chance at qualifying for the next round.
Yeah, and sorry. Um, yeah, you're right. It does put them in a pretty good chance of qualifying. And Beanie Babies, they did sub out their ADC. It won't be DD playing. It will be their, the main one they have on the roster, Addy, right? He will be playing for them today. So we might see how that's different from game 1 to game 3, how they play. And yeah, if they do, I think if they do manage to get this game for the side of Go Next Fast, I think they have a lot of math we have to do. It's high, and ties are always fun to deal with. Smile, no, they're not. But if they don't, we don't even have to worry about a tie. So either way, I'm not going to be the one doing the math. So it is what it is.
Uh, we've run the numbers and we've concluded that we have no clue on what's going to happen as a result. So we're
Yeah, I've
still
run the
waiting on
numbers,
a.
and these numbers don't make any sense.
We're still waiting on a little bit for the draft to begin. Actually, never mind. It looks like we've just started as Ziggs is immediately banned away by Go Next Fast. Beanie Babies did have side select for this one and did choose to pick the red side.
Yeah, and they're gonna be banning away, some power picks. They're gonna getting rid of that Blitzcrank, maybe another hook champion, something like that. Just wanting some safety in the bot lane. Gonna follow that up with a Tryndamere ban on the side of Beanie Babies. Go Next Fast will get rid of the Ziggs and the Kale. This tells us some things, about each team's style of play and what they're trying to lean toward. But with so many champions in the game, these bans, we're gonna have to see what goes on. Maybe this might be a Braum Lucian angle, getting rid of one of Braum's biggest lane counters and the Zyra. That could be it, and it also shuts down a potential misfortune pick if left open. We're gonna have to see
Taking a
what they
bit,
do.
yeah. The first three bands went through pretty fast, but got a bit of a hesitation now. It'll be Corky getting taken away, and if I've done my notes, taken my notes correctly, I believe that the Blitzcrank and should be banned were more so comfort picks because the bully I know had a bunch of games in solo queue on Blitzcrank, at least in comparison to all his other all the other champions he's played, and Bat again also had the vast majority of his games on Tryndamere, but we'll see Viego first picked for Go Next Fast.
Yeah, power farmer. So it's rough to pick, first pick a power farmer like Viego, because if something such as a skirmisher or an invader like the Zao comes up, or something like a Trundle or a Hecarim even comes up, it can definitely punish this Viego who just wants to really sit back and farm until he gets his items and levels up. Now it's just all about pairing that with something good, either in the top lane or a support pick, really running around with this Hecarim, and enabling him to do Hecarim things. He's no longer just the Hecarim Udyr meta where they just ran around like maniacs.
Yeah, gosh, that was a time.
Way too much damage. The Morgana's really picked up. Interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I would imagine with Hecarim selected that it's going, that Morgana's going support, more than likely, and picking Morgana blind, I know it is a bit of a kind of comfort pick for Zorinth, a little bit, but not quite one of his main, as we see Lucian Nami getting locked in for Go Next Fast. We've seen that one be played earlier today. Oh, that's what it's for. If they do lock in his Caitlyn.
There is the Lucian Nami, but they're going to count it with the Morgana Caitlyn. They could always opt in. They could have opted for the Lux, right? Lux has been super good ever since those buffed to her ultimate and damage. they could have opted for that, but Morgana Caitlyn's still a traditionally super good lane, and it's good into Nami. It blocks the bubble, blocks the tidal wave, and it blocks some of that Lucian auto damage that's going to come out once he gets buffed up by the enchanter on his side. So yeah, overall not bad, and it really makes Lucian Nami stand up, and it requires some thought versus really just running at them and gutting them down in lane and out of lane. They have to be very careful of these bindings, of the Caitlyn damage, all of that. And they're gonna start banning out Mordekai's on the side of Beanie Babies and Ornn on the side for Go Next Fast.
Yeah, I would imagine a lot of these bans are going to be focused on solo lanes because I would imagine that we've seen both junglers and bot lanes locked in, and these bans are looking like they support that theory. Beanie Babies will have to blind one of their solo laners. They'll choose the Orianna, be the one in the mid lane to be counterpicked, and I imagine Orianna is usually alright as a blind pick.
Yeah, Orianna's totally fine, but they do have the option to walk the Syndra into it, getting rid of the Victor for their side, so they definitely wouldn't mind going the Syndra here. The Zoe, of course, is an option, but I don't think she messes well. But there's the Lux. I was just talking about it, right? Like the Syndra fills that role of lane, a lane dominating champ, can be a lane dominating champ, especially into Orianna. It forces Orianna to play off the wave a little bit. Don't want to get hit by the bindings or the what is that called? The light fields. You don't want to get hit by any of that damage.
Shoot, I know. Wait, hold on. Wait. Numbers. I've searched my head, and it turns up. I only know three ability names from Lux, and the one I don't know is the E.
It's annoying. It's the annoying ability.
Yeah. It's the annoying poke ability.
Yeah, so it forces the Orianna to stand off the wave a little bit.
Tom Kinch locked in though, so getting off that.
Ooh. Kled. Icing it up with the Hecarim Kled combo. I like it.
Okay, we're going to be going fast.
And you got the ball turn on Orianna. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, we're going to.
Oh, that's so good. I like that so much.
Yeah, we might gonna need to turn up the Euro beat here for the side of Beanie Babies, because they're the amount of speed they're going to be coming out with. Both Orianna, Hecarim, Kled. Whew.
Yeah, everything works well synergistically in the comp. I think the only issue I would say is the fact that Morgana and Caitlyn are playing for lane, and they're not playing to make these fast engage. Like everybody else on the team, pretty much. The Orianna even can play into that fast engage. Everybody else is kind of, the last two members are kind of really hanging back, and that might be an issue if they get far behind in the other lanes. It's definitely not a bad team comp if Go Next Fast plays into it, like they're engaging into it, but I just don't see them engaging into it. They have a Tom Kinch and a Lux. They want to play back, and that. The disparity between those two teams and how they want to play these team fights, it could be very rough because you're playing depending on how you play, you're playing into the other style, and that's just not good. That's generally pretty heavily disputed in League.
We do have an update. Apparently, Beanie Babies, their top laner Myopia he's reporting that quite a few of the team members are currently not at their seats. They have to unload their vowels currently, so we will have a bit of time before we actually get into any sort of spectator delay or the actual draft and client itself. So we've got a few minutes or maybe seconds around here before you have any real action coming through. So said the things coming through. I think we probably going to send it to a break. I don't think we really are looking forward to out of these comps. I mean, I would doubt any of these champions are flexible. I mean, maybe the Nami top.
No.
Not, dude.
Everything's pretty.
It's a freaking Nami jungle.
Pretty firmly locked in for where they want to go, what they want to do.
Yes, so I think with that in mind, we're going to send it to a break. It'll be a bit longer than the other ones that we've had before because of the current situation, but we will be back. And when we do, we will be on the Rift for a final game today between Beanie Babies and Go Next Fast.
Am I breaking through? 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 Am I breaking through?
have returned for the final time today for a matchup between Beanie Babies and Go Next Fast, and it was a bit long of a break. A few players had to go use the bathroom before this match. It's better not to do that in the middle of a game, so it's a bit understandable. However, it's been how that means, sayonara, that we've been away for a bit longer than we're used to. So you might want to give us the audience a few refreshers to what we might be looking forward to in this game.
Yeah, just a few refreshers. We're looking at a heavy engage comp going into a heavy disengage comp, right? We have a Tom Kinch in the top lane. We have a Kled and a Hecarim, both of them wanting to deliver the ball and run at you, right? But then at the same time, it's kind of awkward, right? Because you do have the Caitlyn and the Morgana who kind of want to sit back and let let the enemy team play into them. Um, so it's kind of a mixture of two comps on one side with one, and then the other side they have more of a real identity, which is to play back, let them run at you at super high speeds, and they even have the summoner spells to match it, right? So you see Lucian with the exhaust, and you see Nami with the heal, versus the other way around. Um, really trying to stop that aggression onto the Lucian specifically. And it's honestly, just smart stuff right there. On the other side, nothing really to highlight. Just maybe the fact that Kled has grasp instead of conquer. Something like that just to highlight. Interesting. So he's going to be a tankier little Yordle than we are used to seeing.
Yeah, and the bully, he does have electrocute this time. We've had a bit of a strange one actually in the top lane. Myopia looking very early on to find a trade onto BAP. Perhaps a bit more favored for
Just a
him.
little poke back and forth. And I like the Kled pick and the
Hold on.
Tompkins
These
just
are
because
quite good. Yeah, the grievous wounds we're
do
seeing
that.
there. BAP is, oh my gosh, his name is BAP, but it looks like he's the one getting bapped in that 1v1 in the top lane. And
Yeah.
but yeah,
Like I was about to say, it's so good into the Tompkins just because you can optimize. You can get the grievous wounds without having to buy anything. Granted, it's not as a constant debuff on him, but it's still a pretty big debuff, right? So just looking at that, looking at the junglers, they're path opposite of each other, so there won't be that early confrontation over the first scuttle crab. So even if one side does lose a priority, it shouldn't worry too much about it.
Rivered.
He tries going for a little bit of
Yeah.
poke, a little bit of damage, but nothing comes
Perhaps
of
a
it.
bit too early because I mean his jungler was very near, and well, Kaxi will try to find a gank here. Zorinth, I don't believe has the black shield. I'm pretty sure he used it earlier. Won't go for any fight either. Won't go for the gank either way.
Yeah, so he's just gonna take that early scuttle, look maybe in the enemy jungle, toss a ward down, and then look to reset or pick up the Crux and then reset. Standard jungle stuff. That is what Main Miller is doing. Goes in, has the lane priority, so he can walk into the enemy jungle, drop some wards or sweep for them. Um, yeah, not
Yoka's
too much.
maybe trying to
I hope
find a trade onto BAP. Despite being down a level, he's fully marked up. BAP walking up, dismounted, stunned up by the tongue lash. Myopia getting a bit dangerously low. Being said, BAP, on the other hand, oh, well, he does have the tough skin available still. So even though that health bar is looking dangerously low, he will be fine as Kled remounts. I feel like that's probably a more even-ish trade, but definitely a very extended one as BAP lands another tongue lash.
Ooh,
What
great
does Main
bubble
Miller here in
here, but
support? Yeah, actually,
nothing.
shoot,
No.
straight to the bot lane.
Yeah, nothing really comes of
Oh,
it.
and
I just want to highlight how smart that was played from BAP, by him holding the tongue lash for when Kled will get demounted rather than using it and wasting that stun while Kled is untargetable. He held it, waited until Kled was targetable again, stunned him up, and it's super hard to play that. Myopia is doing it as well as he can into the busted champion that is Top Kench.
yeah, the classic top kitchen. Well, I don't know if I would say. Well, I guess it's kind of classic at this point. Definitely not really a support at all anymore. Even though the Devour coming online at level 6 does give a shield, it's waiting to level 6 to actually have any supportive role is not ideal in a 2v2 lane. But either way, um, actually, hold on. The bully walks straight onto that trap and takes a ton of damage from this Caitlyn. I generally you don't want to be the one actively walking onto the trap yourself, but here we are.
You don't want
As
anyone
you
walking on a track.
yeah, yeah, because normally with Caitlyn Morgana, it's the binding that leads into the trap. But yeah, guessing if you don't need the binding, why not? You know.
It allows them to extend the CC a little bit longer and get a little bit more damage out of it overall. Um, yeah, now we're just it's really just waiting for these junglers to hit six. Unlike the other games, it's really about the junglers hitting six in this one and looking to start some crazy action for themselves. But it's
We
super.
actually just might find a 3v3 in the
Miller.
spot. Like Mid Miller gets a little bit of CC down onto Caxi. However, the stun comes back in return. He's used Ghost now. River getting low. It looks like a bit of a tough situation. Mid Miller exhausted and has to burn heal. Will stay alive. River getting
Going
very.
in.
Oh, Bap lands a knockable to both Addy and Zorinth. But in return, look
Takes
at
a
all
lot of
that
damage.
CC. But you know, Tom Kinch being Tom Kinch won't take much damage. And well, this does at least the very least kind of rip Myopia, who did, I believe, use his teleport to get back to lane. Oh, straight to the mid lane though. Chinese Spy taking a bunch of damage from that final spark on Billy Willard. One combination gets him down to half health, and he's really low on mana.
Going
With the
in.
dragon going down, the the abyssal voyage not quite landing any sort of CC there.
Maybe if he had ultimate, he could have done something. But as it stands, he doesn't, and Myopia does, taking advantage.
Oh, hold on. That's a lot of
Close.
damage coming through. Main Miller's not
Hey.
spotted by BAP, though.
Well, they could. They had the option to collapse on him with Myopia's ult, but they choose not to. That's absolutely fine. Either way, like I was saying, look at the advantage that Myopia has accrued for himself, right? He's not going for necessarily the. Although,
Hold on.
actually coming
Caxi?
out. Caxi's trying to do something, gets hit by the binding, takes a lot of
Hey,
damage. Double root.
Will actually finally get the kill. I mean, yeah, there it is. That's Caxi picking up. Like, at first it looked a little bit in. I know his team was close in tow, but just barely had enough damage to finally get that kill. We did get the reset and actually straight up into the top lane. Bap not quite doing enough to dismount Myopia's Kled. Okay, so back of this.
It's interesting, right? Like Myopia has such a huge advantage, but opting into the tankier Kled build that we've seen so far, probably going to be looking for a Sunfire Cape. Doesn't really need the Frostborn Gauntlet to get on people's heads because, you know, he has the ultimate, he has a dash.
Billy Willard lands the snare, and that is not quite a solo kill onto Chinese Spy, but we're seeing those Lux buffs that have came through recently coming up in an absolutely massive way. As Billy Willard, he's just, oh my god, the amount of damage this man is putting out on Lux is quite incredible. And actually, we've seen the all-in-point decision. You know, Elementalist Lux. It's important to see which way it goes now.
Yeah, it's just rough, right? Like Chinese Spies just wasn't respecting the rotate. I don't know if it
Hold
was.
on. River just stands right onto that snare. But the follow-up isn't quite enough. The Dark Binding isn't able to find the Lucian, and Culling takes down Adish one in a 2v2 kill for the side of Go Next Fast. And Go Next Fast, the kill score 5-0, as well as that dragon is
That's just it's just going from bad to worse for the side of Beanie Babies, right? Like Chinese Spy just wasn't respecting the Lux damage. You know, maybe that just comes from not playing this matchup for a while. Just didn't respect it. It came out, it popped him. Didn't get the notification that there was a rotation coming out. It happened, and he got caught by it. And then the bot lane, they just so much.
Bap is trying to look for 1v1 here, but without knowing that Main Miller is close in tow, will probably go down, uses the Abyssal Void, gets knocked out of it, and that, oh no, the flash.
No.
Oh no, you hate to see it.
You
You
really-
really do hate to see it. Tries to flash away, doesn't get over the wall. Ugh.
That's just unfortunate. Like, what else can you say except that? That sucks. Like, we've all been on the end of that flash. You know, when we get it, we feel like pros, we feel like gods. But when we mess it up, it's the worst feeling in the world, and we feel like absolute beginners of the game. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, that really. I shed a tear for the for the Tom Kinch. Got back. Oh my God, Billy Willard landing every last ability. This man is not missing right now. I don't think I've seen him miss a single ability so far. And with how much damage Lux does on this current patch, oh my gosh, Tiny Spies absolutely deleted in that
And
fight.
I just want to say that he was super confident. Billy Willard was right there. He was super confident with his ult.
Oh wait, hold on.
And
We potentially a 1v1 in the top lane. Bap trying to find a return to into Myopia. Has the passive fully sapped. Myopia getting fairly low. Very close to getting enough courage to remount, but not quite enough. There still though, imagine if Bap does try to find something again, he would remount in this situation, but still very good trade for Bap overall.
yeah, definitely. Huge trade for him, to be honest. But Myopia can get remounted here, and it shouldn't amount to anything. Like, he has to go for something like this in top side. Top side is a strong side for Beanie's Babies at this point, as the ultimate
Actually
Konami
looking
comes
for
out.
an engage. Yes, the tidal
Oh,
wave is used by
no.
Nami, but none of the CC will land. But it won't matter as Coxie does quite a bit of damage, and that is.
Oh!
Wait,
What?
Coxie? Wait, did I see?
That was definitely a bug. I think I can
Uh,
tell you what happened. So with Coxie ulting in over the top, he clicked onto Ashi's Caitlyn right as he clicked onto Morgana's, and the game channel both of them at the exact same time. So even though it looked like he got out with one, the game still thought he was channeling the other, and it put him back into the turret where he took another tower shot and collapsed. As he goes into the
oh
ultimate
wow,
here,
Main Miller gets the CC onto the bully. Gets him low, exhaust coming through, and doesn't quite have enough burst to take out the bully through that exhaust. And actually, it looked very scary for a few seconds for the side of Go Next Fast, but on the other hand, coming through, it just might still be scary. Main Miller takes the bully low, but it's not quite enough. Dark Binding misses from Zorinth, and with Coxie close in tow, Arishwan will get Black Shield. However, Zorinth will need to flash away to avoid the damage here, avoid getting caught out, as he had already used his Black Shield on his AD carry. And I mean, overall, it's a very massive play for the side of Beanie Babies.
Yeah, it's one thing I want to highlight, that this is a different bot lane for Beanie Babies, right? Like, this is not the bot lane they had earlier, even a little bit, and it shows because they just don't have the same level of coordination as their first bot lane. With Deity down there, and I think a different support. I'm not quite certain, but you know, uh, they just don't have the same level of coordination, because in that first gank where Viego did die, Nami ulted, and instead of just walking through it with the Black Shield.
Taxi?
He didn't. It didn't look like he got notification that he was gonna get the Black Shield, right? So he just walked in and ended up dying when he could have just walked through the Nami wave rather. So it's just unfortunate, and hopefully they can clear up that communication before this game is over.
On the top lane, Myopia is doing a really good job to land a few of those bear traps on a stick. And that actually a bit of Grievous Wounds will prevent a little bit of that healing. Look, actually, hold on. Can they force this tower to go down top lane? Looks like it could be likely.
Yeah, that's what they want to do, because they don't want to let it go down top side. Ooh. Huge
that's
damage.
it going down.
That's
Oh
dead.
my God, Billy Willard. Oh my God, what a chance. Well, at this point, it's what a player, because he is landing a few of these light bindings, complete without the target being CC'd beforehand, which is very impressive. But man, the damage that this Lux is outputting at this point is it's incredible.
Yeah, and it's just 10-2 at this point. But 4.2 gold lead for the side of Go Next Fast, and they are just running through it, running through the enemy's
Bab gets his passive stacked onto Myopia. Gets the dismount, won't continue. Actually, never mind. He actually will try to continue here. Myopia will get remounted though. Yeah, without the Devour, can't really do much to prevent Myopia from remounting. And what looked like immediately was a good trade could actually turn sour for Bap very fast.
The Main Miller is up in the top side, but they decide to back off. They see that so many members of Go Next Fast are coming top, so they decide to run away, and everything will be okay. But one thing I just want to highlight is that all these fights have been without Beanie Babies trying to get their combo down, right? They haven't had the Orianna. They have like Orianna plus main Miller together. I don't even think Oriana's ulted more than twice this game so far.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. I'm trying
I,
to
I
remember the
haven't really
last times.
seen Oriana ultimates yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the shockwaves used, but just very curious,
Super
considering,
curious, 'cause
like you said, the
that's one of the cooldowns that you
compositions.
wanna,
But
yeah, you wanna try and
yeah,
abuse it as much as possible. So yeah, we just haven't seen their composition come online, really, and so we're gonna have to reserve judgment because I think if their composition can, get land that clean ultimate combo that you're looking for, obviously, they can bring this game back around fairly easily.
yeah, but they're going to have to start playing around it, which we haven't quite seen yet. Bit of a slow period. Tiny spy. I mean, it's actually quite a bit of damage from those minions. A bit surprising is BAP. Lands a tongue lash, though Myopia is up a level. Stun comes through. I mean, at this point, it's pretty much two tanks kind of wet noodle fighting each other. How, they're still going at it in
Yeah, I
all
wanna
fairness.
call Myopia a wet noodle at this point. He does a
Yeah,
lot of damage. Look at that Sunfire cape. Once it gets going, it gets
yeah.
going.
Yeah, with BAP electing to stand right next to Myopia and
Sure,
extend
Tom
out that
else
fight.
can you
Yeah,
do?
hold on.
Ooh!
Colin coming through. Rivered uses
Oh
the. Oh
no!
no.
Oh,
Eddie Schwan has just enough health. The Coling and the Gale Force not quite enough burst to get the solo kill onto Adishwan's. Caitlyn will instead give his shutdown over to his opposing 80 carry, and that's a lot of damage from Billy Willard.
absolutely massive right there. It's so huge, right?
I mean, how
They,
many times have we heard have I said that so far? Like 10, maybe?
yeah, definitely. Like
Jeez,
they tried
wow.
to go for it, and yeah, I don't know. It's rough trying to go for a solo kill like that on the Lucian. Mac Miller, didn't hit the knockback, but it didn't matter. He got the kill over to Adeswan or yeah, Adeshawn, and yeah, I like it. They got the kill on the carry, and now they just need to get the Lux, and then they are back in this game 100%.
Yeah, well, that's a bit easier said than done at this point, as it's looking like he's probably going for a death cap second. Already has those sorcerer's boots, and with the Oriana down a few levels, we actually might see a gank onto this Tom Kinch. Myopia is dismounted and consumed. Thrown under tower. He's going to have to flash away, getting very low. Won't quite have enough to remount. He's very, very good distance from that. And that's played very well by BAP.
Yeah, super good by BAP there. But by showing Mac Miller was top or Main Miller, sorry, I keep calling him Mac Miller. I wonder why. But by showing Main Miller was top side, they just get a really free and uncontested Drake pickup, and
The bully
the bully
lands
bullying
the
them.
bubble and the tidal wave. Zorn goes down, saves his ADC in the process with the Black Shield, preventing him collecting further CC from that tidal wave. But either way, it's a very good pick from the side of Go Next Fast. And despite their name, they might just be telling that to their opponents real soon as the shockwave comes through. But where's the follow up on it? Nowhere to be seen. Actually, here it
Myopia is
is.
going
Right
in.
here, it's a bit
Main
late.
Miller going in, but they don't have the shockwave anymore. They don't have the follow up.
Yeah, no shockwave. Myopia's binded, and Main Miller. A lack of communication can be the only explanation for that engage there, and really, it's just gone from bad to worse for Beanie Babies.
It really has, and it's just so rough. Like, it. Yeah, they just toss out the Oriana ult haphazardly. Myopia
Myopia is
walks
just
right into
walking
this.
straight into
Super
this.
tanky, but I don't know if it's enough.
No vision whatsoever. Myopia gets dismounted. His team is close in tow. He will actually manage to live, surprisingly, considering that 4 members of the side of Go Next Fast were just sitting in that brush, and he will live, but at what cost?
You know, they can now have, now he lives, right, but he loses so much pressure. His team loses so much pressure. They don't have control of the Baron. They don't have any vision set up. They need to get that vision control. Like, you look at it, and everywhere except the bot side, where the Baron isn't going to be, it's dark. Where the Baron is, it's dark, and they don't have any way to secure that vision. They can't walk up safely. They just saw Billy Willard walk out of the darkness and chunk out Myopia so hard. And if they walk into the darkness, they're probably going to die if Myopia got chunked.
Yeah. And hold on. River's going to use the culling, interestingly enough. I mean, I guess it'll dissuade Myopia a little bit just so he can secure this tower. He will. Yeah, he will. Okay. So that's top tower gone down, and that's all 3 tier 1 towers for not Go Next Fast, for Beanie Babies. Just gone as actually Katsu maybe trying to find something on the Adi. No. Probably wisely slow. His team's a bit far back. And 2 teammates close by for Adishan. Probably would have not been the smartest idea. But
It's just they see so, each team is a little bit rough in the wards, but that's just because Go Next Fast is just now getting back onto the map. They got to push out mid, and then they're going to start transitioning the bully into the jungle, looking to set up wards in the top side, I believe. That's where you want to start the Baron dance, really. Of course, they could wait for 2 more minutes to get the, Cloud Soul. But, it's just Cloud Soul, right? Like, it's good, but it's not something worth throwing the game over. So it's probably better just to set up all your vision in the top
hold
side.
on, Rivers looking to go.
Oh!
Oh my god, what the heck? The Fat Final Spark did all of Adishan's health. And it barely tapped. That was through the
no, the
Black Shield
bully,
as
what are you
well. Oh no, the
doing?
bully. Oh, he gets nared. And there we go. We haven't quite seen the power of Caitlyn Morgana come out just yet, but there it is, demonstrated despite being so far down in gold. Still something you always have to look out for, and the bully will pay for with his life.
Yeah, Adeshan, almost got taken out by the final spark right there. Billy Willard trying to find an opportunistic final spark. The bully walking up a little bit too far, gets, caught out, and that's just his first death of the game. They haven't had a lot of deaths, only 4, but, feels bad to lose your KDA like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it also may have given actually would have given Beanie Babies a bit more time to get a little bit more vision down, just so they can collect their own camps. But and with Cloud coming up in 30 minutes, it is Cloud, so I don't think I personally don't think they should contest this, really.
I mean, at what point, they have to try something, right? They just want to give over this free value scaling over to the side of Go Next Fast. That's what they've been doing all game. So unless they can trade it for something as good, like 2 turrets, 2, 3 turrets, all these turrets that are still up, if they can trade those over, then it might be fine. But if they get this Cloud Soul, then they just transition it into a Baron Dance, and then the Baron Dance means the end of the game. So they have to try something here. They have to try to use their combo. They have to try to use Myopia, Miller, and Shiny Spies to engage, or else
It
it's just
doesn't
gonna
look
get
like they're
rough.
going to, though.
Oh no.
I should have Baron being pinged, but I really don't think that's the call. They're not there. They're not there in time, and
They have no
they're already
vision.
heading over. Yeah, they just don't have vision. Teleports are coming through. This just might be where they decide to make their final stand. Actually, BAP. We'll
Myopia.
find Myopia. So that will stop. Oh
Myopia ulting out. I don't
no!
think that was necessary.
I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that was necessary. His team was close behind, and considering that's a very big part of how they want to play their composition with that charge, that's going to be a massive cooldown missing.
Cooldown, yeah.
And
Toss
just
it.
and being already
Flank behind.
oh, straight from behind the tidal wave. Adi is saved by his support with the not dark binding. The black shield will keep him alive for now, prevents that CC from coming through, but there's just so much damage on the side of Go Next Fast, and apparently Go Next Fast
Caxi
is
with
to
the top
himself,
control.
and oh my gosh, Caxi is deleted.
Oh my.
Oh my, yeah, this that's an ace.
That's an ace, and I think they
That
get
is
in the
an
game.
ace.
They do have the mid wave.
The mid wave is there. I mean, it looks like Riverd is trying it himself, but the rest of his team is going to the Barret. And I mean, I just take what you can while you can. No need to really push it and throw away these shutdowns. But I mean, they're so they're so
Yeah, they
far
played that
ahead.
4v4 spectacularly, right? Like they knew exactly what they wanted to do. They knew exactly how they wanted to play it. They traded support for support, and then they played out the rest of the fight. Caxi, 2v1 on the top side, almost died, but flash onto Adishan, shut him down. before he could get his ultimate off, and it was huge, right? So now they have the Baron, and now they definitely can end the game. They could have ended the game before, but it would have been a lot closer than it was. A little bit rough to do. So, why not play it safe? Why not get the Baron and look to unlock the game further from here?
Yeah, and really, without anything on the map, I don't believe that there's much Beanie Babies can do to stop the bleeding currently. At the very least, if they do somehow manage to live long enough, there is a potential for Elder Drake with how powerful that objective is.
Yeah, comes up in 3 minutes, and I
Maybe
think
as a
that it,
comeback. If
yeah.
they can survive until then, that
Oh
might be
my
their way back
God,
in.
Adi's
However,
God.
River with the solo
Okay,
kill
the
onto
backline.
Ashon. Myopia is trying to find the charge in, but his team just isn't there. He goes, not quite yet. Gargoyle Stoneplate gives him a lot of shields, but that is just so much
I
damage
think that's
coming
game
out
right
from
there.
the side of Go Next Fast.
That definitely is the game.
Yeah, now this is going to be the game.
He's behind the backline trying to cover
Yeah.
those, but they can
Yeah,
take up the
it's
turret as long as they wish.
yeah, this is just free range for Go Next Fast. And well, if it wasn't our final game of the day, I would have to agree with their with their team name. I mean, this one is a 26 minutes game. It was absolutely clinical from them, and oh my
Oh,
god, that was just one binding from Billy Willard, just to emphasize how much damage he's doing at this point.
GG's, come
Yeah,
on.
GG's. Go Next Fast. Well, like I said, their namesake. They definitely, well, kind of did the inverse of living up to it. But yeah, very clinical, very clean from Go Next Fast, taking the first win off Beanie Babies of this group stage. And I think with that, I'm not aware of what the tiebreaker rules are, but I would warrant to guess that it would be on head-to-head results, probably. And I think that means Go Next Fast are on a higher position than Beanie Babies.
I'm
I would imagine.
I'm gonna leave the math and all the tiebreaker
Rule
jargon
breakers
to the yeah,
to the
yeah, to the people who
tournament
are
organizers.
organizers.
That's probably a wise decision. That's more
I
than likely the right thing to do. I mean, if I'm looking at the standings currently, so obviously Go Next Fast are on the same record as Beanie Babies at 2-1. So because of how fast that game is, we would have to wait for the results between Clock Block and Lost and Found to see if Clock Block do manage to win their game. That would be confirmed. That would confirm Go Next Fast and Beanie Babies going through. But with how fast it was, I don't think we will get that anytime soon. We might just wait a few seconds to just confirm that we won't get it on stream. Actually, we have a bit of an update from Group A. In the meantime, Lucifer's guys and Dorado Trenches will advance to the playoffs. It is confirmed. So Oast Refugees and Valor Bulls United will not be taking place in the games tomorrow. Yeah, so overall, so Oast is playing Valor Bulls United. So even though we don't have it, this isn't the game we're looking at. Another thing to potentially look for tomorrow is that the game between Lucifer's guys and Dorado Trenches, the winner between that game will be the first seed, and they will play whoever is seeded second in Group B. Right now, it's looking like it could be Beanie Babies. I need to look at the schedule. Who did Lost and Found win against? Go Fast. They beat Go Next Fast. Wait, so you know what? We're going to leave that one to the tournament organizers because this would be a very complex situation. So you'd have 3 teams on 2-1, right? Just looking at it. Lost and Found beat Go Next Fast. Beanie Babies beat Lost and Found, and Go Next Fast beat Beanie Babies. So if it was on head-to-head results, I'm not entirely sure how that would go through. But
I think it goes off of game time, average game time, stuff like
afterwards,
that.
yeah,
Or stuff like that.
something like that.
It
But
probably was a little bit of average math. So
run
whoever
the numbers. I don't believe production has that information on their hands immediately. Confirm they do not have that information. So, I think we are going to call it here. I don't believe there's much else to go over because we'd be sitting here for quite a while with how fast this game went to see the final standings. But before we go, I will confirm that it is Lucifer's guys and Dorado Dringers are going through to tomorrow's playoffs. And we'll have to see the seeding for Group B when that gets completed. But until then, I have been Sun Praising. Alongside me has been Sayonara. And I guess we'll say sayonara for this stream today. Really.
Yeah, we will be saying goodbye. Let's take it easy out there on the rift. And
Yeah.
Sunpraising, you take it easy too, my man.
Yeah. I would also like to thank Wookie Master, our producer, and
Oh, definitely.
the amateur leagues that have put up this scouting grounds as well and are organizing this whole thing. But that concludes the broadcast for today.